When Daniel stepped off that bus on Christmas Eve, he had no idea his own mother wouldn't recognize his face. The dust from the motor park settled on his worn shoes as he stood there, watching families hug and scream with joy all around him. 10 years. It had been 10 years since he left Lagos at age 15, chasing a dream that almost killed him. Now he was back. But something felt wrong. The city looked different, bigger, louder. The small street where he grew up had new houses now, painted in bright colors he didn't remember. Even the smell was different, less of the sweet roasting plantain from Mama Sola's corner, more of car smoke and perfume. Daniel touched the scar on his left eyebrow, the one from that night, the night everything changed. He picked up his old black bag, the only thing he owned, and started walking toward home. Wait, before we continue, you need to know something important. Something Daniel himself didn't know yet. His family had already buried him. 3 years ago, home looked smaller. The yellow gate was now blue. Someone had planted flowers in the front. His mother never liked flowers, said they attracted bees. Daniel's heart beat so fast it hurt. He knocked. Nothing. He knocked again, harder this time. The gate creaked open. A young girl stood there, maybe 8 years old. She wore a red Christmas dress and had ribbons in her hair. "Good afternoon," Daniel said, his voice shaking. "I'm looking for Mrs. Grace Okonkwo." The girl stared at him with big, curious eyes. "Mommy!" she screamed, running inside. "Mommy?" Daniel's stomach twisted. Did his mother have another child? How? She was already 45 when he left. A woman appeared at the gate. Not his mother. Someone younger, prettier, tired eyes, but a kind face. "Can I help you?" she asked. I'm looking for Mrs. Grace Okonkwo," Daniel said. "She lives here. This is her house." The woman's face changed. Something flickered in her eyes. Surprise? Fear? "Mrs. Grace passed away," she said quietly. 2 years ago. The world stopped spinning. "No, that's not possible," Daniel whispered. His bag fell from his hand. "I spoke to her. I sent money. But even as he said it, he knew it was a lie. He hadn't called home in 5 years. The phone number stopped working. He told himself they moved, changed numbers. He told himself many lies. "I'm sorry," the woman said. "Did you know her?" "I'm her son." The words hung in the air like smoke. The woman stepped back. Her hand went to her mouth. "That's impossible," she said. "Her son died. Everyone knows that. Daniel died 10 years ago." Daniel didn't die, but everyone thought he did. "Let me take you back to that night. The night a 15-year-old boy made the biggest mistake of his life." Daniel was the smart one, the one who always topped his class, the one who made his mother smile, even when there was no food in the house. His father had left when Daniel was 7, ran off with a woman from the church, left them with nothing but shame and an empty room. So Daniel worked hard, studied hard, dreamed hard. Then he met Brother Felix. Brother Felix was a youth pastor at their church. Young, handsome, always smiling, always talking about opportunities abroad. How young boys like Daniel could go to Malaysia and study and work and send money home. "Your mother won't have to sell food in the sun anymore," Brother Felix said. "Imagine, you, in a university, becoming someone." Daniel's eyes shined with hope. "But how?" he asked. "We don't have money for that." Brother Felix leaned in close. "I know people who help boys like you. All you need to do is travel with them, work for a few months, pay them back. Then you're free." It sounded perfect, too perfect. Daniel told his mother he got a scholarship. She cried with joy, cooked the last chicken in the house, invited the neighbors. Everyone celebrated. The night before he left, his mother held his face in her hands. "Make me proud," she whispered. "Come back as somebody." Daniel never came back. What they didn't tell Daniel was this: there was no scholarship, no university, no dream. When he landed in Malaysia, tired and confused, Men were waiting. Big men with hard faces. They took his passport. They took his phone. They took his name. "You work for us now," they said, "until you pay your debt. 50,000 naira. But the debt never ended. Every day, they added more. For food. For the small mat he slept on. For breathing their air. Daniel worked in a factory. 16 hours a day. Making shoes he could never afford to buy. His hands bled. His back screamed with pain. At night, he slept with 12 other boys in a room meant for 4. Some boys tried to run. They were caught. Daniel never saw them again. After 2 years, Daniel stopped thinking about home. Stopped thinking about his mother's face. It hurt too much. Hope was a knife that kept cutting. Then one day, the factory caught fire. Daniel should have died in that fire. Everyone said so. The flames moved fast. So fast. Boys screaming. Metal crashing. Smoke so thick you couldn't see your own hands. Daniel ran. Didn't think. Just ran. He woke up 3 days later in a hospital. A Malaysian nurse stood over him, checking something on a machine. "Lucky boy," she said in broken English. "Everyone else dead." 17 boys died that day. But Daniel lived. The Malaysian police came, asked questions, took notes. The trafficking ring was exposed. Big news, big arrests. Someone from the Nigerian embassy came. A tired woman with kind eyes. "We're sending you home," she said. But Daniel couldn't go. Not yet. Not empty-handed. Not after everything. "Please," he begged. "Let me work. Legal work. Just 3 years. I need to save money. I can't go home with nothing." The woman looked at him for a long time. "Okay," she finally said. "But stay legal. Stay safe." Daniel did. He worked 3 jobs. Saved every coin. Stayed away from dreams and promises. Just worked. But he never called home. Too ashamed. Too broken. "I'll call when I have something to show," he told himself. "When I'm somebody." 10 years passed like water through fingers. Now he stood at his own gate, being told he was dead. "Please," Daniel said to the woman, "I need to understand. What happened? Why does everyone think I'm dead?" The woman looked uncomfortable. The little girl peeked from behind her mother's dress, staring at Daniel like he was a ghost. "You should talk to Mr. James," the woman said. "Daniel's uncle. He lives 2 streets away. Same place. Yellow house with the satellite dish. Uncle James." Daniel's chest tightened. Uncle James was his mother's younger brother. The one who always borrowed money and never paid back. The one his mother still loved anyway because family is family. "Thank you," Daniel said. He picked up his bag and walked away, feeling the woman's eyes on his back. Uncle James's house looked expensive. New paint, new gate, a big generator humming in the corner, a shiny car parked outside. Daniel remembered Uncle James's house being small. 1 room, always smelling of cheap alcohol and regret. Something was very wrong. He knocked. A young man opened the gate. Maybe 20 years old. Muscular. Suspicious eyes. "Yes? I'm looking for Mr. James," Daniel said. "Who's asking?" Tell him Grace's son is here." The young man's face went pale. He slammed the gate shut. Daniel heard shouting inside. Footsteps. Then the gate opened again. Uncle James stood there. Older, fatter, richer looking. They stared at each other. "Danny?" Uncle James whispered. "Yes, Uncle. But you're dead." "I'm not dead, Uncle. I'm right here." Uncle James looked around nervously, like he was checking if anyone was watching. Then he grabbed Daniel's arm and pulled him inside, shutting the gate quickly. The house was beautiful inside. Leather sofas, big TV, air conditioning that actually worked, pictures on the wall, but none of them were of Daniel's family. "Sit," Uncle James said, pointing to a chair. His hand was shaking. Daniel Saturday. His uncle paced back and forth, rubbing his face. This is not possible." Uncle James kept saying, "You are dead. Everyone said so." The embassy called. Said you died in a fire. Sent a death certificate. We had a funeral. Your mother." He stopped. "Your mother cried for 2 years straight," Uncle James said quietly. "Stopped eating. Stopped talking. Just sat in that house waiting for you to walk through the door. Then she got sick. Her heart, they said. But we all knew. She died of a broken heart." Daniel couldn't breathe. His mother was gone. Because of him. Because of a lie. "Who told you I was dead?" Daniel asked, his voice barely a whisper. "The embassy lady said she would help me. Said I could stay and work. Why would she say I died?" Uncle James looked away. "I don't know," he said. But he was lying. Daniel could see it. The way his uncle's eyes shifted. The way his jaw tightened. "Uncle James," Daniel said slowly, "why are you lying to me?" Silence. Heavy. Thick. Dangerous. "I'm not." "You're lying!" Daniel stood up, his voice breaking. "My mother died thinking I was dead. Someone told that lie." "Who was it?" Uncle James backed away. "Danny, please, calm down. Tell me the truth." We thought it was real," Uncle James said desperately. "The death certificate looked official. Brother Felix brought it himself. He said he spoke to people in Malaysia. He said, Brother Felix." The name hit Daniel like a bullet. "Brother Felix," Daniel repeated coldly. "The one who sent me there. The one who ruined my life." "He was helping," Uncle James said. "He helped other boys too. Good boys who went abroad. And where is he?" Daniel's voice was ice now. "Where is Brother Felix?" Uncle James swallowed hard. "He's a senior pastor now. Big church in Lekki. Very successful. Very respected." Daniel laughed. A bitter, broken sound. "Respected," he said. "While I was bleeding in a factory, he became a pastor. Danny, please understand." "And you, Uncle?" Daniel looked around the beautiful house. "How did you get all this? Last time I saw you, you couldn't afford rice." Uncle James went quiet. And that's when Daniel knew. "The money," Daniel whispered. "The money I sent before everything went wrong. The money I sent for Mama. You took it." "It wasn't like that." "How much, Uncle? How much did you steal?" "I didn't steal. Your mother was dead. You were dead. The money was just sitting there. I used it to start a business. I was going to—" Daniel's fist connected with the wall. The pain felt good. Real. Better than the pain in his chest. "Get out of my house!" Uncle James shouted, suddenly angry. "You're dead! You don't exist! Whatever money came, it was abandoned money. Legal money. Mine by right." "My mother died believing her son was dead," Daniel said, his voice shaking with rage. "And you got rich from it." "Get out!" Uncle James screamed. "Get out!" The young muscular man from earlier appeared, cracking his knuckles. Daniel looked at them both. At the house built on lies. At the life stolen from his mother's memory. He picked up his bag. "I'm not leaving Lagos," Daniel said quietly. "Not until everyone knows the truth." He walked out. The gate slammed behind him. Christmas Eve in Lagos is beautiful. Lights everywhere. Music pouring from houses. Families laughing. Children playing. The smell of jollof rice and fried chicken floating through the air. Daniel walked through it all like a ghost. Nobody saw him. Nobody knew him. He was dead. After all, he found a small hotel. Cheap. Dirty. Paid for one night with some of the little money he had saved. The room had one bed and a broken fan. It smelled like old cigarettes and sadness. Daniel sat on the bed and put his face in his hands. 10 years. 10 years of suffering. Of working. Of surviving. And for what? His mother was gone. His uncle had stolen everything. And the man who destroyed his life was now a rich pastor. Daniel wanted to scream. To break things. To disappear. But then he remembered something his mother used to say. "The truth always comes to light, Danny. Always. It might take time, but darkness can't hide forever." Daniel opened his bag. Inside, wrapped in plastic, was the one thing he had carried for 10 years. The thing that kept him alive. A small photo of his mother. She was smiling in the picture. Young, beautiful, full of hope. "I'm sorry, Mama," Daniel whispered to the photo. "I'm so sorry." He held it close to his chest and closed his eyes. Tomorrow was Christmas. Tomorrow, Daniel would rise from the dead. Tomorrow, the truth would come to light, even if it burned everything down. Christmas morning arrived with church bells and prayers. Daniel woke up on that hard hotel bed, his body stiff, his heart heavy. Through the thin walls, he could hear a family laughing next door, a child screaming with joy about presents, a mother singing a Christmas song. He touched the photo of his mother, still clutched in his hand. Today, he thought, today I make this right. But how do you fight a pastor? A man of God? A man everyone trusts? Daniel had no money, no proof, no power. He only had his story. And sometimes, a story is the most powerful weapon in the world. Brother Felix's church was massive. Miracle Fire Ministries, the sign said in bold red letters. The building was new, white and gold, 3 stories tall. Cars packed everywhere, expensive cars, Range Rovers, Mercedes, even a Lamborghini. Daniel stood across the street, watching people flood inside. Women in beautiful dresses, men in sharp suits, children running and playing. Everyone looked happy. No one looked like they knew the pastor built his empire on the backs of broken boys. The Christmas service was starting. Daniel could hear the music booming from inside. Drums, guitars, voices, singing hallelujah. He crossed the street and walked toward the entrance. A security guard stopped him. "Service is full," the guard said, looking at Daniel's worn clothes with disgust. "No space. I just want to worship," Daniel said quietly. "Go to another church," the guard said. "This one is for members." "For rich members," Daniel thought. "Please," Daniel said. "It's Christmas. Jesus was born in a stable, not a palace. Can a poor man not worship?" Something in Daniel's voice made the guard uncomfortable. Maybe it was the pain. Maybe it was the quiet rage underneath. "Fine," the guard muttered. "But stay at the back. Don't disturb anyone." Daniel walked inside. The church was like a concert hall, lights flashing, smoke machines, a massive stage with a band that looked like they belonged on MTV. The choir wore matching gold robes that probably cost more than Daniel earned in a year. Thousands of people filled the seats, dancing, shouting, praising, and then he walked out. Brother Felix, older now, gray hair at the temples, but the same smile, the same confident walk, the same voice that once convinced a 15-year-old boy to trust him. He wore a white suit that sparkled under the lights, gold watch, gold rings. He raised his hands and the crowd went wild. "Merry Christmas, Miracle Fire family," Brother Felix shouted. "Merry Christmas, Pastor," the crowd roared back. Daniel felt sick. "Today we celebrate the birth of our Savior," Brother Felix continued. "The one who came to set the captives free, the one who brings light to darkness, the one who presses." "Liar." The word came out of Daniel's mouth before he could stop it. Not loud, just a whisper. But somehow, in that moment, the music had stopped. The pause between songs. And in that silence, Daniel's whisper carried. People near him turned around, confused, shocked. "What did you say?" a woman beside him asked. Daniel stepped forward. His legs moved on their own, down the aisle, toward the stage. "Sir!" A security guard rushed toward him. "Sir, you can't." "Liar," Daniel said again, louder this time. The church went silent. Brother Felix froze on stage, his hand still raised in the air. Their eyes met, and in that moment Daniel saw it. Recognition. "Daniel?" Brother Felix's voice cracked through the microphone. The church erupted in confused whispers. "Is that?" But he died. The boy who died 10 years ago. Daniel reached the stage. Security guards surrounded him but didn't touch him yet. Everyone was too shocked. "Hello, Brother Felix," Daniel said, his voice steady now. "Surprised to see me?" Brother Felix's face went pale. then red, then pale again. Daniel, he said, trying to smile. My God, is it really you? We thought you were dead. This is a miracle. Everyone, this is a miracle. He started clapping. Some people joined in, confused but obedient. Daniel didn't move. A miracle? Daniel said. Is that what you call it? Yes. God brought you back. After all these years, we mourned you. You lied about me. The clapping stopped. What? Brother Felix said, his smile frozen. You told my family I was dead, Daniel said, his voice growing stronger. You sent a fake death certificate. My mother died believing I was gone. Died of a broken heart because of your lie. No, 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 Brother Felix said quickly, looking at the crowd. Daniel, you're confused. You went through trauma. It's understandable, but I would never. You sent me to Malaysia, Daniel interrupted. Told me it was a scholarship. It was trafficking. I worked in a factory like a slave for 2 years. Men took my passport, beat me, starved me. You knew. You were paid to send boys like me. The church gasped. That's not true, Brother Felix shouted. This boy is sick. Someone call a doctor. He needs help. But something had shifted in the room. People were looking at their pastor differently now. How many boys did you send? Daniel asked, stepping closer. How many are still there? How many died? Security! Brother Felix screamed. Remove this madman. The guards moved forward, but then a voice rang out from the crowd. Wait! A man stood up, thin, scarred face, maybe 30 years old. I know him, the man said, pointing at Daniel. I was there, in Malaysia, in the factory. The church went completely silent. The man walked down the aisle, limping slightly. My name is Peter, he said. Brother Felix sent me abroad 6 years ago, promised me a better life. I ended up in the same hell. I escaped 3 years ago, came back, but I was too ashamed to tell anyone the truth. He stood next to Daniel. This man is telling the truth, Peter said, his voice shaking. Brother Felix is a trafficker, a liar, a wolf in shepherd's clothing. Another voice. From the back, he sent my cousin too. A woman stood up, tears streaming down her face. My cousin never came back, she said. They said he died in an accident, but we never got his body. Just a phone call and money to shut us up. More voices. My brother, my nephew, my friend's son. One by one, people stood up. People who had lost someone. People who had questions they were too afraid to ask. The truth was spreading like fire. Brother Felix backed away from the microphone, his face twisted in panic. You don't understand, he said desperately. I was helping. These boys wanted to go. I just connected them with opportunities. If something went wrong, it wasn't my fault. You took money, Daniel said coldly. You were paid for every boy you delivered, every life you destroyed. And when things got too hot, when the authorities started asking questions, you faked our deaths to cover your tracks. No! My mother died thinking I was dead. Daniel's voice broke now, raw with pain. She had nothing. You took everything. And you built this. He gestured at the massive church. You built this palace on our graves. Brother Felix's legs gave out. He fell to his knees on the stage. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I didn't think. You didn't care, Daniel said. The police came 20 minutes later. Someone in the congregation had called them. Multiple people, actually. Brother Felix was arrested on Christmas Day, right there in his golden church, wearing his white suit. They found evidence later, bank statements, text messages, names of the trafficking ring, everything. It made national news. Mega pastor arrested for human trafficking. How many boys did he send to their deaths? Christmas miracle. Dead boy returns to expose evil. Daniel became famous overnight, but he didn't want fame. He just wanted justice and his mother back. But one of those things was impossible. 3 days after Christmas, Daniel stood at his mother's grave. It was in a small cemetery on the outskirts of Lagos. The grave was simple, just a concrete slab with her name. Grace Okonkwo, beloved mother, gone too soon. Someone had left flowers, fresh ones. Daniel knelt down and touched the stone. "Hi, Mama," he whispered. "I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry for everything." The tears came then, 10 years of pain pouring out. "I tried to make you proud," he said. "I tried to become somebody, but I failed. I failed so badly." "No, you didn't." Daniel turned around. A woman stood there, old, maybe 70, leaning on a walking stick. "Who are you?" Daniel asked. "My name is Sister Mary," she said with a kind smile. "I was your mother's best friend." She came closer and sat on a nearby grave, catching her breath. "Your mother talked about you every day," Sister Mary said. "Even after they said you died. She never believed it. Not in her heart. She would sit by the window waiting for you. People thought she was crazy. But I knew. A mother knows." Daniel's chest ached. "Before she died," Sister Mary continued, "she told me something. She said, 'If my Danny ever comes back, tell him I'm not angry. Tell him I love him. Tell him he already made me proud.'" The words broke something in Daniel. He sobbed. Sister Mary reached out and held his hand. "She forgives you, child," she said softly. "Now you must forgive yourself." But there was still one person left. Uncle James. Daniel found him 3 days later. Not at his fancy house. At a bar. Drunk. Alone. The news about Brother Felix had reached everyone. Uncle James knew Daniel was back, knew the truth was out. He looked up when Daniel sat down across from him. "Come to finish me off?" Uncle James said bitterly. "No," Daniel said. "I came to understand." Uncle James laughed. A sad, broken sound. "Understand what? That I'm a thief? A liar? I know what I am." "Why?" Daniel asked simply. "Why did you take the money? Why did you lie?" Uncle James poured another drink. His hand shook. "Because I was tired," he said quietly. "Tired of being the failure, the drunk, the one everyone pitied. When that money came, your money, I saw a chance to finally be someone, to be respected. So you let my mother die thinking I was dead," Daniel said. "I didn't mean for that to happen." Uncle James slammed the table. I thought she would move on. I thought she would be okay. I didn't know she would just give up." Silence. "The money is gone," Uncle James said. "I spent it. The business failed. The house is mortgaged. Everything is falling apart. I have nothing left." Daniel looked at his uncle, this man who helped raise him, this man who betrayed him, and he felt tired. Tired of anger, tired of revenge, tired of pain. "I'm not going to report you," Daniel said. Uncle James looked up, shocked. "What?" "I'm not going to report you to the police," Daniel repeated. "Brother Felix is in jail. That's enough. You'll have to live with what you did. That's your punishment." "Why?" Uncle James whispered. "Why would you let me go?" Daniel stood up. "Because my mother loved you," he said. "And I'm tired of destroying family." He walked away. Uncle James sat there, alone with his drink and his guilt. 6 months later, Lagos looked different to Daniel. Not because the city changed, because he had. He started a foundation, Grace's Hope Foundation, for boys who had been trafficked, for families who lost someone. Peter, the man who stood up in church, helped him run it. Others joined too. Survivors, believers, people who wanted to make sure no more boys disappeared into the darkness. The foundation was small. No fancy building, no big donors yet, but it was real. Daniel also reconnected with some old friends from the neighborhood, people who remembered him, people who cried when they saw him alive. One of them was a girl named Joy. She used to live next door, used to share her lunch with him when his mother had no food, used to make him laugh when things were hard. She was a woman now, a teacher, beautiful, kind, I missed you, she said when they met again. I missed you too, Daniel said. They started talking, then walking together, then sharing meals. Slowly, carefully, Daniel learned to smile again. 1 year after that Christmas, Daniel stood in front of a small house. Yellow paint, blue gate, flowers in the front. The woman who answered the gate was the same one from a year ago, the one who told him his mother was dead. Mr. Daniel, she said, surprised. Hello. Hello, Daniel said. I'm sorry I never asked your name. It's Blessing, she said. Blessing Eze. Nice to officially meet you, Blessing, Daniel said. I have a question. This house, are you renting it? Yes, Blessing said. From your uncle, but he told me he's selling it. I have to move out soon. I can't afford to buy it. Daniel nodded. Don't worry about moving, he said. I bought it. Blessing's eyes went wide. What? I bought the house, Daniel repeated. It was my mother's. It should stay in use. Raising a family, full of life. You and your daughter can stay. No rent. I can't accept that, Blessing said, tears forming. Yes, you can, Daniel said gently. My mother would have wanted it. She always said a house isn't a home unless there's love inside. You have love here. I can see it. Blessing couldn't speak. She just cried and nodded. Her daughter, the little girl from a year ago, ran out and hugged Daniel's leg. Thank you, Uncle Daniel, she said. Daniel smiled. A real smile. You're welcome, little one. That evening, Daniel sat on the beach. Bar Beach. The same place his mother used to bring him when he was young, when they had a little extra money for suya and coke. The sun was setting, orange and pink and gold. Joy sat beside him, her hand in his. Are you happy? She asked. Daniel thought about it. He thought about his mother, gone but not forgotten. He thought about the boys they had rescued. 8 so far. 8 lives saved. He thought about Uncle James, who Daniel heard had joined a church and was trying to change. He thought about Brother Felix, in prison where he belonged. He thought about himself, alive, home, fighting. I'm getting there, Daniel said honestly. Some days are hard. Some days I still feel like a ghost. But I'm here. I'm real. And I'm trying. Joy squeezed his hand. That's all any of us can do, she said. They sat there in silence, watching the waves crash against the shore. Daniel never forgot what happened. The pain didn't disappear. The scars didn't fade. Some nights, he still woke up screaming, back in that factory, back in that fire. But he learned something important. You can't change the past, but you can stop it from destroying the future. His mother never saw him come home, never got to hold him again, never got to see the man he became. But her love stayed with him. In every boy he helped, in every family he reunited, in every truth he told. She died believing he was dead, but he lived proving her legacy was alive. 5 years later, Daniel stood on a stage. Not a church stage, a government building, the Ministry of Justice. They were signing a new law, the Grace Okonkwo Anti-Trafficking Act, named after his mother. The law would protect young people from fake scholarship programs, would create a database to track missing persons, would punish traffickers more harshly. It wasn't perfect, but it was a start. The minister called Daniel to the podium. This man, the minister said, died and came back to life. Not through magic, through courage, through truth, through the refusal to let darkness win. The crowd applauded. Daniel looked out at them. At Peter, standing in the front row. At Joy, now his wife, her hand on her pregnant belly. At Sister Mary, old but still strong, smiling with tears in her eyes. At the empty seat he left for his mother. He spoke into the microphone. My name is Daniel Okonkwo, he said. I came home for Christmas. My family didn't remember me because they thought I was dead. He paused. But I want to tell everyone listening, every young person who's been lied to, every family who's lost someone, every mother waiting by the window, don't give up. Keep fighting. Keep hoping. Keep telling the truth, because the dead can rise again, and the light always, always, always defeats the darkness. That night, Daniel dreamed of his mother. She was young again, smiling, cooking in their old kitchen. "Mama," Daniel said in the dream. She turned around. "My Danny," she said. "You came home." "I'm sorry I was late," he said. She walked over and touched his face, just like she did the night before he left. "You were right on time," she whispered. "Right on time." When Daniel woke up, his face was wet with tears. But for the first time in 16 years, they weren't tears of pain. They were tears of peace.